Welcome to Guide to Feeling Better. Our Guide to Feeling Better show provides information to help people recover from mental health and substance use disorders. I'm Jill King, host of today's show. Today we will be talking with Sarah White, who will be providing us with valuable information on Campbell County Drug-Free Alliance. So Sarah, can you give us an overview of what the Alliance does?
Yes, absolutely. So what the coalition does is we build community partnerships. Our ultimate goal is to bring about a healthy community for the youth in Campbell County, and that is free of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. And ultimately what we want to see is the youth to be able to live a healthy and productive life in this community and wherever they were to go.
That's great. So what are the goals of this wonderful mission?
The goals are to increase community collaboration, so that's kind of the number one goal, and also to build coalition capacity, and we also want to reduce youth substance use, and we do that through prevention and education, reducing access and availability of drugs, and then also through policy change.
Wow, that's a big challenge.
It is.
Well, and how do you do this, and how do you, what's the end result?
So it can be kind of complicated, but little baby steps. So what we do, we are lucky enough to have data, and so we evaluate data that we receive from here in the community. We serve as a resource to the community. We provide information on alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. We help to plan community activities to help promote issues related to substances, alcohol, tobacco, other drugs. And we work to reduce tobacco, alcohol, and other drug addiction by promoting safe and healthy lifestyles for families and for the entire community.
So why don't you give us a call to action? What can we do?
Absolutely. So if you are interested in getting involved with this coalition, if you are interested in prevention, please give us a call, email us, reach out to us. We are always interested in having new community members come on board, and it really does take everyone working together. So come on board and we can kind of tackle this together.
Well, that's great information, and thank you for coming today and sharing that overview.
Thank you for having me.
Can I go to the sleepover?
I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Welcome to Guide to Feeling Better. We're here to talk to Sarah White with the Campbell County Drug-Free Alliance today. And so the Alliance does prevention, it does all sorts of risk reduction, it helps people find treatment, it's a resource. But can you give us a broad overview and get into the nitty-gritty about, the background?
Yeah, absolutely. So the coalition was formed in 2007. in June, actually. So we are celebrating our 11th anniversary, which is very exciting. And in the very beginning, we were actually the Southern Campbell County Coalition. So basically from Highland Heights south was the area that we focused on. And the coalition came about because of concerns from key stakeholders in the community who had reached out to some local agencies and had said, we would like to form some sort of coalition, something that can focus on prevention, substance abuse prevention. So we, long story short, formed the Southern Campbell County Coalition. And then in 2011, we realized as a coalition that there was such a large area of the county that we were not focusing on, and a lot of people that could use our help, and we could also use their help. So we expanded, and in 2011, we became the Campbell County Drug-Free Alliance, and so now we encompass the entire community of Campbell County.
Well, and at that point, then you had some years of experience.
Yes.
And you were able to make it a broader program.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah. And also we were able to work with other agencies that we had never worked with before. Agencies that had been reaching out to us, and also other school districts that had reached out to us. And that really was kind of the turning point for us. And we said, okay, we're having school districts and agencies in the northern end of the county reaching out to us. So why don't we go ahead and just cover the entire county?
So all right, so you mentioned schools and some agencies. Do you have any other partners that are involved?
Yes, we are lucky to have some incredible partners, many of which have been with us since day one. The Campbell County Library has always been a really strong supporter. Brighton Center, North Key Regional Prevention Center, they have been with us since day one. We work really closely with a lot of the schools. Actually, all of the schools have been involved at some point, and we have great relationships with the Family Resource Youth Service Center coordinators in the schools. Law enforcement, the Alexandria Police Department, again, they have been with us since day one. The Northern Kentucky Health Department has been involved. And oh my goodness, local businesses.
That's great.
Yeah, so we are very fortunate when it comes to our partners.
So how many partners total do you have? Do you know that number?
We have over 30.
Wow.
Over 30 community partners. And we truly would not be able to do the work that we are doing if it wasn't for the partnerships that we have. Even sometimes there's staff changes, but those partnerships with the agencies, regardless of who's there representing them, the partners are always there. The agencies are always there for us.
That's some fine leadership, I would say. And strong leadership.
Yes.
I mean, if you're going to make a change in the community, you've got to have that.
Yes.
So, that's wonderful. Well, why don't we come back in the next segment and talk a little bit more about what happens. I'm curious to know what else is going. What are you doing?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
That'd be good. All right. Well, stay tuned, and we'll be right back to Guide to Feeling Better.
yourself as a lot of things, but you will always be his dad. Please, take control of your life and go to AA.
All right, welcome back to Guide to Feeling Better. We're here with Sarah White talking about the Campbell County Drug-Free Alliance. And so last segment we were talking about the history and all the partners. And so now I'm really curious, what are the activities that you've been doing?
Yes, so in the past 11 years, I'm happy to say that we have really done a lot of good work in the community. And I'll just kind of go over a couple of the projects that we currently have going on. One of our biggest successes this year was a partnership with the Campbell County Circuit Court Clerk and the DMV office. And we created a packet for new drivers, and it's called I Drive Distraction Free. So when a student goes down to get their temporary driver's license, they will receive an envelope. It looks like an insurance envelope, and it has information for them, for the new driver, and for the parents or guardians. So there's a letter to the parents or guardians, and then there's information on alcohol and marijuana. And those two substances specifically, because those are the two substances that we as a coalition are focusing on for our Drug-Free Communities grant. And so...
and aren't those more the drug or the gateway drugs?
Yes.
Smoking, alcohol, marijuana?
Yes, yes. So we do cover, as a coalition, tobacco, alcohol, marijuana, and prescription drug use. So yeah, these are just kind of two of the substances that oftentimes people will use, when they are then going out and driving in the car, or have used before they get into the car. So we have that project, so it's called I Drive Distraction Free. And we have posters throughout the schools letting the new drivers know, or they're kind of aware of it before they actually go down to the DMV office. And then we are doing a lot of work around prescription drugs. So we are providing prescription drug lock boxes, and
nice.
They are free of charge, which is very exciting to say. There's not many things nowadays that are just free, but we want people to lock up their prescriptions, get them up out of the way, of anyone really who's in your home, could be coming into your home. So we have prescription drug lock boxes. We also have prescription drug disposal pouches. So if you have unused or old prescriptions, you can get rid of them in your home through the disposal pouches. And again, those are free of charge. And
So do people take them somewhere? They put the drugs in them and then drop them somewhere?
No, so they are just a pouch. You fill it with warm water.
Oh.
You put the prescriptions in, you shake it up, and the prescriptions actually dissolve in the pouch, and then you can just throw them into the trash can.
Ah.
So, we don't want people to throw them in the toilet or just throw them in the garbage. So this is a safe way to be able to dispose of them. Or we also are doing a lot of work promoting the prescription drug drop boxes. So in Campbell County, there are 9 locations. All of them are housed at the police departments except for one. The one in Southgate's actually housed at the community center. But you can safely take your prescriptions and drop them into a drop box. It looks just like a big mailbox. And you can get rid of them that way. However, we cannot accept needles or liquids in the drop boxes.
So if somebody's listening from outside of Campbell County, where would be a good place for them to start calling around to see who has a drop box? I was actually at a restaurant and I overheard people talking about where do we take them? That was just like last weekend.
Actually, we can talk about that in the next segment.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching, and we'll be right back with more information on Campbell County's Drug-Free Alliance.
In 70-degree weather, it takes only minutes for the inside of your car to heat up like an oven. At 104 degrees, heat stroke begins, followed by loss of consciousness. Every year, almost 40 children die of heat stroke after being forgotten in a vehicle. A simple change in daily routine is often the cause. Look before you lock. Brought to you by Kids in Cars.
Welcome back to Guide to Feeling Better. We're here today with Sarah White from the Campbell County Drug-Free Alliance. And so we were just talking about drop boxes for unused medications, which is quite frequent. I mean, now doctors aren't prescribing as many in a bottle, but I just recently had a toothache and I have extra. I only ended up taking one, thank goodness.
Yes.
So where can I take them? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so here in Campbell County, like I said, there are 9 locations. But if you don't live in Campbell County, there are drop boxes located in all of the 8 counties in northern Kentucky.
Oh, that's good.
But also, there's a list on the Sanitation District's website that tells all of the Dropbox locations. And on our website, there's just the locations for Campbell County. But if you only wanted to utilize the ones in Campbell County, please feel free. Just drive across the Licking River or that Ohio River and drop them off to any of the drop boxes.
That's great.
That we have.
So what other kind of activities do you have going on, maybe for youth? Anything to share about that?
Yes, so every year we have been fortunate enough to provide a youth summit. I shouldn't say every year. I think we've done maybe 6 or 7 youth summits, but it's always held in October. It's held during Red Ribbon Week, and we are lucky enough to have our partner, Northern Kentucky University. I should have mentioned them as a partner before, but our youth summit is housed at NKU. And it is for middle school and high school students to come with a teacher, a representative from the school. And we are always able to provide, different information. They always leave with an activity to take back to their school, a call to action for, their school. So this past October was our largest youth summit. We had over 200 students.
Wow.
From almost every school district in Campbell County. So we were thrilled with the success of this youth summit. And then also we currently have something going on right now called Project Sticker Shock. And this is a great way for youth to get involved, but also just community members. So what Project Sticker Shock is, it's basically a friendly reminder to adults not to provide alcohol for minors. So we work with the retailers, alcohol retailers in the Campbell County community, and we have people go in and place bright orange stickers on packages of alcohol. So beer particularly. And like I said, it's just a friendly reminder not to provide alcohol, but also to let those who are over 21 know that there's a consequence. There's a legal consequence for providing alcohol to minors. So we actually have that going on through the end of this month.
So how many stickers did you print?
Oh my goodness. So last year we distributed over 13,000 stickers.
Wow.
And this year alone, of course we still have, 2 weeks until the end of this month, we have already surpassed that, and we have distributed over 15,000 stickers so far.
So did the retailers help put those stickers on, or is it all the community members that?
Yeah, they can. One of the stores this year, they were a new partner. They wanted their employees to place the stickers on, and that was okay. So it really just depends on what the management at the store will allow
Sure.
or what they want. But so we've had some stores sticker themselves. We've had community members and coalition members go out and place stickers. We've had youth groups, which is really exciting.
Right.
So yeah,
That's
it's a
great.
great project that we have going on in the community.
It's a simple project and with a big impact.
Yes, yes.
You don't have to have a lot of training involved and
Right.
volunteering, and
Yes, exactly.
great.
Yeah,
good idea.
thank you.
So I think you say something early on about policy.
Yes. Can we save that for the next segment?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
We're just running out of time.
Growing up and separating from what's familiar to you can be scary. It can be even more difficult if you have a mental health challenge. You're trying to define yourself and your place in the world, which can be hard if you feel anxious or depressed. When one person reaches out to lend a hand, they can make all the difference. You could be the one to help them soar. Find out how you can help a young person with a mental health or substance abuse challenge. Visit samhsa.gov/children.
So welcome back to Guide to Feeling Better. On this show, we just discuss a lot of practical information, community information, anything to do with mental health and substance use, recovery. We want people to get better. They deserve to feel better. So anyhow, we're here with Sarah White with the Campbell County Drug-Free Alliance. And so we'd like to talk about some policy action that the coalition has taken on.
Yeah, absolutely. So at a county level, we really have looked at tobacco policies, particularly in the schools. All of the schools have some sort of tobacco policy, but we really would like to have across the board a 24/7 tobacco-free policy. And that would not only include the students and faculty and staff, but also visitors to the schools, sporting events. So that is one of the things that we have worked on throughout the years. And that's where our partnership with the Northern Kentucky Health Department really has been key, because they have people on staff who work just solely on tobacco policy. So, so we've addressed tobacco policies with the schools, and just recently we have jumped into marijuana policy. And that, I'm fortunate enough to have worked on that at a regional level with my counterparts in the other 7 counties of northern Kentucky. And so it's looking at proposed bills, and just being aware of what are the bills that our legislators are reviewing, trying to make sense of them for ourselves, and really kind of breaking it down and helping the general public or even our legislators make sense of what the bill says. And then, of course, we want to, put our prevention stamp on it. So all of the coordinators, like myself, or even the other chairs of the coalitions, we took a pretty firm stance, and we submitted a letter to the editor that went out to several different newspapers and TV stations, and we know that there's lots of different bills that our legislators are bringing up through the legislative session, but we wanted to make sure that we, as prevention professionals in Northern Kentucky, kind of have our say on what we feel, as far as marijuana.
I was going to say, I know at Mental Health America, and nationwide, a lot of people with mental health and substance use disorders actually die of, smoke-related illnesses, and it impacts their overall health. And and it's just, people deserve to feel better. They don't have to die of those illnesses, and it doesn't have to be encouraged.
Right.
And in some environments, it's still, smoking is the lesser of the evils is promoted.
Yes.
And so we advocate for that as well, as far as people being healthier, just in general.
Yes.
And recognizing the people that are around you and their health as well.
Yes. And we know through the data that, oftentimes the first substance that young people will use is tobacco. And so we, as a coalition, that's kind of why we have looked at school policy, and being able to set an example or set a precedence in Campbell County with the schools that, we care about your health, but we also care about the health of the faculty and staff and the visitors. And, that's why we're kind of working on that level first.
Makes sense. Well, we'll be back with more information, so stay tuned.
Oh, hey, bud.
Oh.
Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
It's a school night. With Gary and Todd?
Yeah.
Not sure about those two. I've been meaning to ask you. This is tougher than I thought. Is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
I hope not, because alcohol can lead you to say things and do things that you really wish you hadn't. Isn't this what you're supposed to say?
I know.
So if any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you.
Ryan.
Yeah?
So start the conversation even before they're teenagers.
Good idea.
For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Welcome back to Guide to Feeling Better. We're going to wrap up some of how to get involved, but we have Sarah White with us from the Campbell County Drug-Free Alliance, and there are alliances, community partners across the country, but Sarah's been doing some great work, and Campbell County is a leader, and so take the information and use it wherever you can and get involved. But how can they get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. We want everyone to get involved. So the Campbell County Drug-Free Alliance, we meet the second Wednesday of every month. So there is a meeting going on every single month, the second Wednesday. We meet at the Disabled American Veterans Building, So for those of you in Campbell County who are familiar, it is right across the street from Wendy's and from Furniture Fair. But we meet from 9 to 11 in the morning, and we have coffee. So, we would love to have anyone who is interested, community members. You don't have to be involved with an agency or a school. You don't even have to have a personal history with substance abuse or mental health. Just anyone who's interested, who wants to get involved, we will put you to work. And really, if you come to one meeting and you think, oh, that's not for me, that's okay. But we hope that more people want to get involved in this work because, there's a need for it, and we are all very passionate about the work that we're doing, and so we really just want to extend an invitation to anyone in the community.
Well, and you don't have to know a lot about mental health or substance use to get involved. I mean, if you're in marketing or, any kind of experience, personal experience, retail experience, whatever your talent is, it can be probably utilized.
Yes, absolutely. We will have something.
Even if you like to be the one to make the coffee.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we have something for everyone to do. So, there's no talent that is too small for us.
There you go.
So,
do you want to give a website or phone number?
Absolutely. So, if you are sitting at home and you just want to look us up, our website is ccdrugfreealliance.org. And if you have a question, please feel free to give me a call. My phone number is 442-8600, extension 20. And I am more than willing to talk and answer questions and talk about the coalition.
Great. Well, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
And stay tuned. Actually, we'll be right back with the news. Have a mentally well day.
Unless you've walked in their shoes, you would never know the overwhelming feelings of sadness, anxiety, and hopelessness that cause hundreds of students to take their own lives.
The number of students we lose to suicide every year would fill an entire high school.
We need to start the conversation about good mental health.
Help us reverse attitudes and save lives.
The life that you save might be your own or someone you love.
To learn more, go to attitudesinreverse.org.
Hi, I'm Vicki Barley with Catholic Charities.
And I'm Jill King with Mental Health America of Northern Kentucky and Southwest Ohio. We are your National Institute of Mental Health outreach partner. To keep current with research-based mental and substance use news, link to the National Institute of Mental Health on web, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. African Americans and Latinos are more likely to be at risk for depression than whites. Dr. Perez Stable, director of the National Institute on Minority Health and Health Disparities, was the senior author of the study. He found that African Americans and Latinos were more likely to have higher levels of chronic stress and more unhealthy behaviors.
Men and women both experience depression, but their symptoms can be very different because men who are depressed may appear to be angry or aggressive instead of sad. Their families, friends, and even their doctors may not always recognize the anger or aggression as depression symptoms. In addition, men are less likely than women to recognize, talk about, and seek treatment for their depression, yet depression affects a large number of men.
In an NIH study, it explains why opiate therapy may not always work for chronic pain. Researchers have shown that pain-induced changes may explain the limited effectiveness of opiate therapy in chronic pain and may play a role in the depression that often accompanies it. These findings clearly show the impact of chronic pain on the brain and its relationship to depression. The study was conducted by NIH scientists.
Male depression may lower pregnancy chances among infertile couples. Among couples being treated by infertility, depression in a male partner has linked to lower pregnancy chances, while depression in a female partner was not found to influence the rate of live births, according to the NIH-funded study. A study provided infertility patients and their physicians with new information to consider when making treatment decisions.
Suicide rates have been rising in nearly every state, according to the latest vital statistics report by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. In 2016, nearly 45,000 Americans aged 10 or older died by suicide. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death and one of just 3 leading causes that are on the rise. Data from the CDC and National Violent Death Report System took a look at circumstances of suicide among people without known mental health conditions. Researchers found that more than half of the people who died by suicide did not have a known diagnosis of mental health condition at the time of death. Relationship problems or loss, substance use, misuse, physical health problems, and job, money, legal, or housing stress often contributed to the risk for suicide. Firearms were the most common method of suicide used by those with and without known diagnosis of mental health conditions.
The complete volume of the 2017 Monitoring the Future Survey Teen Drug Use and Behavior Survey results are now available online, with never-seen-before highlights about drug use and attitudes among the nation's 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. New information includes teens reporting that vapor devices are nearly as easy to get as alcohol and marijuana, and that they believe parental disapproval of marijuana use is much lower than in previous years. The survey is conducted annually by the University of Michigan and funded by the National Institute on Drug Abuse, part of the NIH.
The Feeling Better news update. Remember, you can always learn more from other MHA, NKY, SWOH YouTube videos and from reliable news sources like the National Institute of Mental Health, SAMHSA, NIDA, and more. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Our Guide to Feeling Better show attempts to dispel myths and misconceptions about the ways in which people can and do recover from mental health and substance use disorders. We hope that today we have provided you with valuable information on drug-free communities. We hope that this information will benefit you and those whom you love. Early intervention is key to survival and recovery. We hope that you have grown today and that we've provided you with the necessary tools that can help save lives, perhaps even your own. For wellness checks, more practical information, and for topics that you would like us to address on future shows, please visit www.guidetofeelingbetter.org.